Iniesta is one of the greatest midfielders we've ever seen. From his dribbling ability, his first touch, his eye for a pass and goal at times, he has been one of the most influential midfield players of his generation. His intelligence on the pitch has earned him the nickname The Brain throughout his career. We're going to take a look at some of his career highlights and see exactly what made him so special. But first, we need to go to the very beginning. Iniesta comes from Fuengirola, and sorry if I've completely butchered that pronunciation, but it's a small village in Spain where he mostly played futsal due to the lack of football pitches in the village, and that already gives you an insight as to how he developed his technical ability. For those of you who don't know, futsal's played on a smaller pitch, so your first touch and passing ability have to be on point. So at the age of 12, whilst playing futsal in a 7-a-side tournament, he attracted the attention of some scouts from clubs around Spain. Iniesta's parents actually knew Barcelona's youth team coach, and he persuaded them to consider sending Iniesta to the Barcelona Youth Academy. Iniesta travelled there with his parents and visited La Masia, the farmhouse, where the club houses its young players, and the trip convinced them all to enrol Iniesta in the Barcelona youth ranks. And it was quite emotional for Iniesta to leave for La Masia at such a young age and be separated from his parents. He was very shy and kept himself to himself when he was there, but that didn't stop him from captaining Barcelona's under-15 team to a Nike Premier Cup win in 1999, scoring the winning goal in the last minute of the final, and he was also named the player of the tournament. Just after Iniesta arrived at the club, the captain at the time, Pep Guardiola, famously told fellow midfielder Xavi, "You're going to retire me, but this guy," referencing Iniesta, "is going to retire us all." On October 2002, Iniesta made his first team debut in a 1-0 away win against Club Brugge in the Champions League group stage. He would then become slowly integrated into the first team and have his first breakthrough season in 2004-2005, where he featured in 37 out of 38 league games. An injury to Xavi at the start of the following season allowed Iniesta to get more regular starts in the centre of midfield, and that's where he continued to improve and develop. He crowned that season off with a league title and Champions League title. He continued to get exposure in the first team, and in 2008 he was named the 4th choice captain, behind Puyol, Xavi and Victor Valdez, but all of them were products of the Barcelona youth system. The year 2008 would be a very important year for Andrés Iniesta. On an international stage, he was part of the Euro winning team in 2008. His Spain team won the final 1-0 against Germany, thanks to Fernando Torres' goal, and this would be a catalyst for a period of domination for the Spain national team. But don't worry, we'll get to that. But let's focus on club football for a little bit. In the 2008-2009 season, he did have a few injuries, but that didn't stop him from scoring the equaliser at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League semi-final, which actually helped send Barcelona through to the final, where they would face Manchester United. Before the final, Alex Ferguson identified Iniesta as Barcelona's biggest threat, and that's in a team that included Messi, Xavi, Samuel Eto'o, and many world-class players. Despite having a thigh injury, Iniesta played the match and he was influential in the game, providing an assist for the first goal scored by Samuel Eto'o, and his team went on to win 2-0. After the game, Manchester United striker Wayne Rooney described Iniesta as the best player in the world, and his performances would rank him 4th for the Ballon d'Or, receiving 149 points. Barcelona won a second successive league title in 2009-2010, but Iniesta's influence was a little bit lower this season. He only started 20 games throughout, and that was actually because of the injury he sustained from the 2009 Champions League final. Iniesta wasn't only suffering physically, he was also suffering mentally due to the death of a close friend in August 2009. This had a big impact on him, and he was often unable to complete training sessions or exert himself due to the mental toll this was having on him. But the thing about great players is they always step up in the big moments regardless of the mental struggles they're going through. And this was no different for Iniesta. Enter the 2010 World Cup final. A final often remembered for being quite dull, and Nigel de Jong's kung fu kick on Xavi Alonso. By the way, how is that not a red card? You can see the stud marks in Xavi Alonso's chest. Anyway, after a goalless 90 minutes, the game looked like it was set for a 0-0 penalties final. Of course, that wasn't to be the case, because on the 116th minute, Iniesta stepped up to deliver the biggest moment in Spain's history. He finished 2010 second in the Ballon d'Or, only behind Messi, who was obviously his clubmate at the time. Iniesta would continue to play in this dominant Barcelona team, racking up the trophies season after season. Iniesta and his Barcelona team also won the treble in the 2014-2015 season, and he was man of the match in the Champions League final, having assisted Rakitic's opening goal in a 3-1 win against Juventus. And during the first El Clasico of the 2015-2016 season, Iniesta became only the third Barcelona player after Maradona in 1983 and Ronaldinho in 2005 to receive an applause from the Real Madrid fans at the Bernabeu. His man of the match performance included a goal and assist, contributing to a resounding 4-0 victory against their bitter rivals. He actually signed a lifetime contract at Barcelona in 2017, which would have kept him at the club for the remainder of his career. But despite that, he actually ended up leaving in 2018. He ended up signing for a Japanese club, Vissel Kobe, on a 3-year deal, and actually stayed there until 2023. After this, Iniesta joined the UAE Pro League club Emirates, and after a short 1-year stint there, Iniesta officially announced his retirement on October 7th, 2024. Now, when you watch football these days, a lot of the focus is always around goals and assists. And if you looked at Iniesta's career without actually watching him, you might think, what's all the hype about? What's the big deal? But I'd point you in these two directions. He's part of the Spain team that won the Euros in 2008, World Cup in 2010, then the Euros again in 2012. He was also part of that great Barcelona team, which in my opinion is the greatest club team we've ever seen. And he wasn't just making up the numbers, he was a key focal point in that team, and he helped the rest of the team click. And the one thing for me that stands out the most about Iniesta is his close control and ability to dribble. His signature move was actually the La Croqueta, which was initially started by Michael Lauded, but popularised by Iniesta. And because of his great technical ability, Iniesta was asked to play in a variety of different positions across the pitch, and that's just because he was that talented. He could do all those different roles so effectively. And because of his ability to play anywhere on the pitch, that earned him a variety of different nicknames. El Illusionista, the Illusionist, El Cerebro, the Brain, and El Antigalactico, which was a pun on Real Madrid players' nicknames Los Galacticos. And you know you're a special player when Zinedine Zidane compliments you. Speaking to a radio station, Zidane said that Iniesta really impresses me. He's got so much influence in Spain's game, he reminds me of myself. Which is massive praise coming from Zinedine Zidane. Iniesta's legacy over football can't be underestimated. You would typically see players of his stature and size thrown away in the academies because they're too small or they wouldn't be physical enough for the game. But players of his generation showed that it's all about your technical ability and how you apply your ability on a football pitch that really matters. And it's not just Iniesta. Of course, he played in a team with Xavi, who is also a fairly small player, and of course Lionel Messi, who is also a small player. But a combination of those three players, along with the supporting cast and the rest of the team, really elevated that type of player. And over the last 5 to 10 years, you've really seen a development of the smaller technical player. So I would like to give a massive thank you to Iniesta for being part of the best club team we've ever seen, as well as the best international team we've probably ever seen as well. So if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and maybe watch another video if you fancy it.